Thank you for joining us. Mr. Srinivasan, these are unprecedented times and these are difficult times. What is your understanding of the situation? How bad it is and what do you think is happening to the economy?
Well, it is very bad. It's a global crisis, I think far beyond even a world war, because the world war is limited to Europe, East Asia, and parts of Africa. And rest of us did have suffering from shortage of materials and food and everything else. But here we have this spreading aerially almost and across the world and does not respect boundaries. And the crisis is something we have not seen in 100 years. It's surpassed every horrendous prediction one could make. So the question really is, what should we do as a country? What should we do as business people? I think leaders should stand up and be counted. We need to stand up and first protect those who are most vulnerable. Wage earners who are in the margins, daily wage earners, people working in unorganized sector, temporaries, contractors. I think it's important that industry gives a signal at this point that no one will be laid off during this crisis. The second, I think we need to spread the word, communicate with every employee and their families, and make sure that they keep distance, follow sterile hygiene practices, and don't leave their homes, don't unnecessarily travel, and protect themselves. I would say that is the highest priority. Then we come to the economy. As far as the economy is concerned, there's going to be a real serious problem of many companies reaching bankruptcy, particularly micro, medium, small companies. Cash flow is going to dry up. So what should we do? The first is banks should give a moratorium on repayment of principal, interest, EMIs by 90 days. Provide almost unlimited ways and means funding to keep the cash going so that these payments to employees and contractors can be continued to be maintained. We have to cut the interest rates. There's a lot of money available with the Reserve Bank on a repo basis that should be released. Fiscal deficits should be increased at this point. FRBM should be amended substantially. It's too tight an act for a developing country. And we have to raise the fiscal deficit even by providing direct benefit transfer to these unorganized and small people. I think a host of such measures. And for rupee, we need to have a rupee swap where against the dollar, so that the dollars available in the Reserve Bank can be used by domestic companies. Otherwise, we'll run short of rupees. And finally, stock market can also be suspended. I think allowing this kind of trading to go and gloom and destruction to take place is not correct. At a minimum, forward trading should be stopped. At a maximum, I think we can suspend the stock market for 90 days.
So at TVS Group specifically, what has happened? Have you shut down your manufacturing facility? What is happening at your manufacturing locations and other locations?
As of Sunday, all our manufacturing facilities are shut on paper for till 31st, but in reality, it's under further notice as we see the crisis epidemic develop. I'm also confident there are enough evidence to show that some medicines are working, like this hydrochloroquine or quinine or whatever it is. And probably in combination with a retroviral drug. Today I saw a Nobel laureate saying that this will pass more quickly than people think. I'm not willing to completely believe in gloom and doom. Yes, we are in a crisis and we are facing an unprecedented problem. But I think human ingenuity, the amount of money that companies are pouring in, and leading companies like Tata's, Birla's, Reliance, they're all using their extra facilities. Smaller companies, maybe large, but still smaller companies like us, We will reach out, protect all our employees, and try to help the communities around us, around our factories. And I think this is a time when sacrifice is called for. And I think industry should demonstrate to the rest of the country that we are leaders and that we will sacrifice. In our company, I've clearly said if any reduction in cost of salaries has to come, it will start with me and stop with 1 or 2 levels below me. We will not extend it to the lower.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you. We are 30 seconds away from the market open. So we are 30 seconds away from the market open. Is it all right that if I take a little bit of detour for market open and then come back to you after 3 minutes? We can call you back if that works for you.
Place where I will not be able to communicate in 10 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, we'll call you in about 2-3 minutes, sir. Thank you for your, All right, some green on the screen. That is what we are looking forward to. So I'm just going to use my laptop and just use it for reference. We are in for not a grand start, but some relief nevertheless. I mean, yesterday stocks got butchered. Everything literally was on the butcher block, where stocks were, where even best of the bulls were really throwing the stocks away as if there was a fire sale. So it's a 400 points uptick on the Nifty. 316 points uptick on the Nifty. 4% uptick on the Nifty. Bajaj Finance, HUL, ITC. It's a strong rally, but again, these are very initial rates which you need to, which I need to mention. After yesterday's crushing blow, obviously markets had to make a comeback. But is this sustainable? Is this durable? Are we likely to sustain there? The point which I want to make back again and again, that yesterday we were the outlier. The world did not collapse by 12%, but our markets did because of the fear of lockdown, which in a sense made a lot of global investors believe that India is going to be going the lockdown mode, and that in a sense really created a lot of panic. So a little bit of mean reversion, I guess, had to happen, and that mean reversion is happening. So if Dow, you're simply falling global markets, and I think a 4-5% comeback looks real because you had overshot yourself given yesterday's panic and yesterday's fear. And that markets, when we overshot yesterday, I guess that normalization is going to be coming back. So, Aisha, it's a good start. And it's a start which tells you that what we've done is that we were the outlier. We corrected excessively on the downside. Post that, US markets have fallen 3%. So if I add up where we are, I guess there is a case for a 3 to 4% or 4 to 5% kind of an comeback. And I think that is what is evident right now. Given that expiry is around the corner, I will not be surprised if we get another 1%, 1.5% more. But this is not like Christmas has come early or the trend has changed. We are simply hostage to global cues. We overshot ourselves yesterday and we are aligning with markets. Okay, Mr. Srinivasan, thank you for your patience and thank you for being with us. You were mentioning, sir, that at TVS, the manufacturing facilities have been locked down. What do you think this will, in generally, do you think is this the best thing to do for all manufacturing companies now to follow a lockdown of a facility? And do you think the lockdowns in various companies, not just TVS but on an India basis, could go well beyond 31st March?
I think so. I think I'm looking at least the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And as this virus becomes plateaued and new cases start declining compared to old cases, which has happened even in Iran, it's happened in China. There are enough prognostications that it will peak and then gradually disappear. India is still on the growth phase, therefore we have to take greater care. There should be no panic, and I think systematically we should follow hygiene practices, distance practices, then it will be controlled. But unfortunately, yesterday with the lockdown coming, every bus stand was full, every bus was packed with people, every shop was packed with people. So last night, I don't know, seeing what happened in the stores, on the streets, how much of actual spread has taken place. But I am hoping that from today, the governments will lock down and truly, truly lock down. And if we do that for a couple of weeks, I think we will get over the crisis. Although the total infection may take months to play out, but I think 2 weeks of complete lockdown, we can get the matter under control.
Okay. Companies like yours, sir, have no debt. They are in a good position because they generate a lot of free cash flow. Do you think the government should now seriously consider removing taxes on buyback so that good, strong IT, auto, pharma companies can actually come and offer a buyback?
Now, at this point in time, I think that is, you're talking about luxury. I think we have to come back to basics about companies which are actually going bust. And I think there the bank should give a moratorium on repayment of capital and principal and give them a lifeline. Otherwise, your IBC system, every hotel, restaurant, and there's small tourist operators, cabs, the whole thing will end up in IBC and clog the system, and we will be in a crisis. So I think the first thing is to take care of the most needy and not of the people who have cash and can do a buyback and give them a tax relief. I think that's not what we should stand for. We should stand for the poorest and the most disadvantaged being protected from this crisis, including individuals, small companies, micro companies, medium companies.
Mr. Srinivasan. Mr. Srinivasan, can you still hear me?
Yes, please. I can hear you.
Mr. Srinivasan, also just to dig deeper into how your business gets impacted, what is the message that you're sending to your dealers? If for the benefit of our viewers and market watchers, you could reiterate your view. I know you briefly talked about it earlier as well. And your suppliers, given that 60 to 70% drop in sales is what you've already incurred in the last few days, how is it that you're going to support them in these difficult times, sir?
I think one of the things is, for example, where dealers have to pay back, we will give them time. We are not going to immediately go and clamp down on dealers. On smaller suppliers, we would like to make all the payments due to them and not wait for the normal cycle to be complete, because they desperately need money and they need to keep their temporaries and their contract workers and the regular workers on the rolls right through this crisis. So I think we will use whatever free cash we have to take care of our suppliers and our dealers.
Okay. And how's the supply situation from China now? Because as we understand, they're still running on partial capacities, even though the lockdown has been lifted.
Well, we have not been impacted as much by China because our Chinese supplies are limited. But right now, the question is that we have stopped production. So I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Srinivasan, this morning.